can believe what they're watching. American oil production is up by more than 600,000 barrels a day, and we just received from our new friend and partner, Venezuela, more than 80 million barrels of oil. American natural gas production is at an all-time high because I kept my promise to drill, baby, drill. More Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. Think about that. Any time in the history of our country, more working today. And 100% of all jobs created under my administration have been in the private sector. We ended DEI in America. We cut a record number of job-killing regulations, and in 1 year we have lifted 2.4 million Americans, a record, off of food stamps. And for all of these reasons, I say tonight, members of Congress, the state of our union is strong. Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in. Go ahead. That's the first time I've ever seen them get up. And actually, not all of them did get up. But they beat a fantastic Canadian team in overtime, as everybody saw, as did the American women who will soon be coming to the White House. They were in the Oval Office before, and I just want to say a second very big congratulations to Team USA. But I have to say that, and I told them this, and we took a vote of the team. I said, anybody votes no, I'm not doing it. So they stood there, and they weren't about to say no, because I've never seen a goaltender play as well as goalie Connor Hellebuck. Think of it, 46 shots on goal, and I asked him, the one shot, the one where you put your stick in the back and it hit the neck of your stick and bounced off, do you practice that, or was that a little lucky? He refused to answer that question. But I just want to tell you that the members of this great hockey squad will be very happy to hear, based on their vote and my vote, and in this case my vote was more important, that I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given, and which has been given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor in our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Great athletes have gotten that, very great, the best, and I thought he deserved it. And I did take a vote, every single one of them. I said, I'm not giving it if anybody goes no, and every single one of them rapidly put up their hand. So I want to thank you. What a special job you did. What special champions you are. Thank you very much. I'm also pleased to say that the next time the Olympic torch is lit, it will be here in America for the 2028 Olympics, and it's the summer version right in Los Angeles. We're going to do a good job in Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is going to be safe, just like Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities in the country. And this year, and I must say I got them both. I got them in my first term, and I was disappointed because I didn't think I'd be the president when this happened. But strange things took place. And now I've got them because I got the Olympics and I got the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and I wanted to claim the 250th, but I didn't get away with that one. I couldn't claim that one for myself. But we're getting the World Cup, so we have the World Cup and the Olympics coming, and that is exciting news. So this will be a year to celebrate our country and the heroes who have kept it free. Men like Buddy Taggart. At age 17, Buddy volunteered to defend America in World War II, serving in the Pacific under the great General Douglas MacArthur. He fought bravely in the famous Battle of Manila, worked so hard. He was badly wounded and almost killed by enemy machine guns in Luzon. And 81 years ago this month, he liberated the largest internment camp in the Philippines, one of the largest anywhere in the world. but he earned many honors, including a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star, came home, started a family, and tonight he is in the gallery looking forward to July 4th, 2026, his 100th birthday. So, buddy, you're a brave man, and we salute you. Even in times of challenge, setback, and immense heartache, the spirit of 1776 has always shone through very brightly. It was July 4th of last year when floodwaters tore through a girls' summer camp in Central Texas, one of the worst things I've ever seen. I was there, rising 26 feet in the matter of minutes, tragically claiming many, many lives. You all remember that one. As the waters threatened to sweep her away, 11-year-old Millie Kate McClelland closed her eyes and prayed to God. She thought she was going to die. Those prayers were answered when Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin descended from a helicopter above. Nobody knew where he came from. It was Scott's first ever rescue mission, a young guy, but very brave, very, very top, always top in his class, and he lifted not just Millie Kate, but 164 others to safety. People watched Scott from a distance, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The winds were blowing, the rain was pouring, everything was going, and that rapid water, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They said, wow, that's something. Tonight, Scott and Millie Kate are here together, reunited for the very first time. Thank you, Scott, Millie Kate. And Petty Officer Ruskin, I'm pleased to inform you that I am now awarding you the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism, which is what it was, extraordinary heroism. Thank you. And I'd like to have the military aide to please come down and take care of the service. Military aide, thank you very much. Take care of that very important service. Thank you very much. From 1776 to today, every generation of Americans has stepped forward to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And they're really doing it for the next generation. But now it's our turn. Together we're building a nation where every child has the chance to reach higher and go further, where government answers to the people, not the powerful, and where the interests of hardworking American citizens are always our first and ultimate concern. That is the debt we owe to the heroes who came before us, and that is the promise we must keep to America for our 250th year. Last year, I urged this Congress to begin the mission by passing the largest tax cuts in American history, and our Republican majorities delivered so beautifully. Thank you, Republicans. All Democrats, every single one of them, voted against these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts. They wanted large-scale tax increases to hurt the people instead. But we held strong, and with the great, big, beautiful bill, we gave you no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. And we also made interest on auto loans tax deductible the first time, but only if the car is made in America. Recently in Pennsylvania, I met Megan Hemhauser, a devoted mom who's homeschools her children, beautiful, 2 children, during the day while waiting tables at night as her husband works overtime operating very heavy equipment. Megan is here this evening, and she's happy to tell you that she is so much richer because with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and our expanded child tax credit done again by Republicans, Megan and her husband will take home more than $5,000 extra just for the year, cutting her tax bill in more than half. Megan, please stand up. We're fighting for you, Megan. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Megan. We're fighting for you, Megan. Under our bill, parents like Megan can also activate their children's brand new Trump accounts. And I didn't name it. I did not name that. Nobody believes me, but I did not name it. It was named by a very tall man sitting right there in the 3rd row. Nice man, a good man. Tax-free investment accounts for every American child. This is something that's so special and has taken off and gone through the roof. Millions will be pre-funded courtesy of the U.S. Treasury and private individuals like Michael and Susan Dell, who have donated $6.25 billion to fund the Trump accounts for 25 million American children. They're great people. When I asked Michael Dell, how do you make all that money? He said, well, I just sat on my dorm in school, and I made computers, and I'd sell them to people, and I just kept selling and selling and selling, and pretty amazing story. That's called the American dream. He sold a lot of computers, a lot of those laptops, so I congratulate him on that, but I really thank him and Susan, as well as others like Brad Gerstner, a very tremendous guy. He was behind it right from the beginning. Brad Gerstner. Thank you, Brad. So with modest additional contributions, these young people's accounts could grow to over $100,000 or more by the time they turn 18. Think of it, how much money is that for somebody that started with nothing? Over 100,000, could be much more than that. To make this investment in our children's future, go to trumpaccounts.gov, trumpaccounts.gov. And a lot of people are doing it. It's setting every record in the book. It's popular. They knew what it was going to take. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of the people that got it started. And now it's just taken off. One of the primary reasons for our country's stunning economic turnaround, the biggest in history, where the Dow Jones broke 50,000 4 years ahead of schedule, and the S&P hit 7,000, where it wasn't supposed to do it for many years, were tariffs. I used these tariffs, took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country, both economically and on a national security basis. Everything was working well. Countries that were ripping us off for decades are now paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. They were ripping us so badly, you all know that. Everybody knows it. Even the Democrats know it. They just don't want to say it. And yet these countries are now happy, and so are we. We made deals. The deals are all done. And they're happy. They're not making money like they used to, but we're making a lot of money. There was no inflation, tremendous growth, and the big story was how Donald Trump called the economy correctly, and 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics didn't. They got it totally wrong. They got it really wrong. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court, it just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling. But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful country-saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in, peace-protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without. Will remain in place under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes. And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time-tested and approved. And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern-day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love. Right? Moving forward, factories, jobs, investment, and trillions of dollars will continue pouring into the United States of America because we finally have a president who puts America first. I put America first. I love America. For decades before I came along, we had the exact opposite. From trade to healthcare, from energy to immigration, everything was stolen and rigged in order to drain the wealth out of the productive, hardworking people who make our country great, who make our country run. Under Biden and his corrupt partners in Congress and beyond, it reached a breaking point with the Green New scam, open borders for everyone. They poured in by the millions and millions from prisons, from mental institutions. They were murderers, 11,888 murders. They came into our country. You allowed that to happen. And record-setting inflation that cost the typical family $34,000 in just a speck of time. Now the same people in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly used the word affordability, a word. They just used it. Somebody gave it to them, knowing full well that they caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem. They knew their statements were a lie. They knew it. They knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies created the high prices Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well. Those prices are plummeting downward. The price of eggs is down 60%, Madam Secretary, thank you. The cost of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And even beef, which was very high, is starting to come down significantly. Just hold on a little while, we're getting it down. And soon you will see numbers that few people would think were possible to achieve just a short time ago. Nobody can believe when they see the kind of numbers, and especially energy, when they see energy going down to numbers like that, they cannot believe it. It's like another big tax cut. I'm also confronting one of the biggest ripoffs of our times, the crushing cost of health care caused by you. Since the passage of the Unaffordable Care Act, sometimes referred to as Obamacare, big insurance companies have gotten rich. It was meant for the insurance companies, not for the people. With our government giving them hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year as their stock prices soared 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, and even 1,700%, like nothing else. That's why I introduced the great health care plan. I want to stop all payments to big insurance companies and instead give that money directly to the people so they can buy their own health care, which will be better health care at a much lower cost. In addition, my plan requires maximum price transparency. That's the deal. Sounds so simple. And I did that in my first term, and the Democrats immediately terminated it with full knowledge that they were doing a very bad thing for the people. Costs were going to go way up, and that's what happened, and now I'm bringing them way down on health care and everything else. I'm also ending the wildly inflated cost of prescription drugs like has never happened before. Other presidents tried to do it, but they never could. They tried. Most didn't try, actually. But they tried. They said they tried. They couldn't do it. They didn't even come close. They were all talk and no action, but I got it done. Under my just enacted most favored nation agreements, Americans who have for decades paid by far the highest prices of any nation anywhere in the world for prescription drugs will now pay the lowest price anywhere in the world for drugs. Anywhere, the lowest price. So in my first year of the second term, should be my third term, but strange things happen. I took prescription drugs, a very big part of health care, from the highest price in the entire world to the lowest. That's a big achievement. The result is price differences of 300, 400, 500, 600% and more, all available right now at a new website called TrumpRx.gov. And I didn't name that one either, by the way. And here tonight is the very first customer ever to get that big discount, and it is big, Catherine Rayner. For 5 years, she and her husband have struggled with infertility, and they turned to IVF. One drug has been costing Catherine $4,000 to purchase, but a few weeks ago, she logged onto the TrumpRx website and got that same drug that cost $4,000, got it for under $500. A reduction of much more, actually, than $3,500. Catherine, we are all praying for you, and you're going to be a great mom. So now I'm calling on Congress to codify my most favored nation program into law. Now, the one thing, I'm not sure it matters because it's going to be very hard for somebody that comes along after me to say, let's raise drug prices by 700 or 800%. But John and Mike, if you don't mind, codify it anyway. They may do it. Codify it anyway. Thank you. Many Americans are also concerned that energy demand from AI data centers could unfairly drive up their electric utility bills. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that I have negotiated the new Ratepayer Protection Pledge. You know what that is? We're telling the major tech companies that they have the obligation to provide for their own power needs. They can build their own power plants as part of their factory so that no one's prices will go up. And in many cases, prices of electricity will go down for the community and very substantially down. This is a unique strategy never used in this country before. We have an old grid. It could never handle the kind of numbers, the amount of electricity that's needed. So I'm telling them they can build their own plant. They're going to produce their own electricity. It will ensure the company's ability to get electricity while at the same time lowering prices of electricity for you, and could be very substantial for all of you cities and towns. You're going to see some good things happen over the next number of years. Another pillar of the American dream that has been under attack is home ownership. With us tonight is Rachel Wiggins, a mom of two from Houston. She placed bids on 20 homes and lost all of those bids to gigantic investment firms that bypassed inspection, paid all cash, and turned those houses into rentals, stealing away her American dream. She was devastated. Stories like this are why last month I signed executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up in the thousands single-family homes. And now I'm asking Congress to make that ban permanent, because homes for people, really, that's what we want. We want homes for people, not for corporations. Corporations are doing just fine. Rachel, thank you very much. Good luck with your home. You'll get one soon. We're also working to make it easier for Americans to save for retirement. And under this administration, we will always protect Social Security and Medicare. They are not protecting it for our seniors. We will always protect Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Since I took office, the typical 401k balance is up by at least $30,000. That's a lot of money. We have millions and millions of people, because the stock market has done so well, setting all those records. Your 401ks are way up. Yet half of all of working Americans still do not have access to a retirement plan with matching contributions from an employer. To remedy this gross disparity, I'm announcing that next year my administration will give these often forgotten American workers, great people, the people that built our country, access to the same type of retirement plan offered to every federal worker. We will match your contribution with up to $1,000 each year. As we ensure that all Americans can profit from a rising stock market, let's also ensure that members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information. They stood up for that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she's here? Doubt it. Pass the Stop Insider Trading Act without delay. I wasn't sure if anybody even on this side was going to applaud for that. I'm very impressed. Thank you. I'm very impressed. But when it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President, J.D. Vance. We'll get it done. And if we're able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly. That's the kind of money you're talking about. We'll balance our budget. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are not playing games. Delilah. Delilah Colvin was only 5 years old in June 2024 when a 18-wheel tractor trailer plowed into her stopped car traveling at 60 miles an hour or more. The driver was an illegal alien let in by Joe Biden and given a commercial driver's license by open borders politicians in California. Doctors said Delilah would never be able to walk or talk, have a good life. She wouldn't even be able to eat again. But against all odds, she is now in the first grade learning to walk. And she's here this evening with her dad, Marcus, a fantastic man. Delilah, please, you are a great inspiration. Please stand up. Thank you, Delilah. Many, if not most, illegal aliens do not speak English and cannot read even the most basic road signs as to direction, speed, danger, or location. That's why tonight I'm calling on Congress to pass what we will call the Delilah Law, barring any state from granting commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens. And yesterday, as you probably saw at the White House, I hosted a ceremony with Americans who lost their treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal immigration. People came into our country, how we allowed this to happen with our open borders. These are the angel moms and families that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored. It was terrible. Hard to believe, actually. In 2023, a 16-year-old high school cheerleader named Elizabeth Medina was supposed to perform in her town's Christmas parade, but she never arrived. Her mother, Jacqueline, went home to look for her, and she found her lying dead in a bathtub bleeding profusely after being stabbed 25 times. Lizbeth's killer was a previously arrested illegal alien who had broken in and brutally extinguished the brightest light in her family's life, violently and viciously. Her heartbroken mother is in the gallery to remind everyone in this chamber exactly why we are deporting illegal alien criminals to our country at record numbers, and we're getting them the hell out of here fast. We don't want them. Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Thank you. We can never forget that many in this room not only allowed the border invasion to happen before I got involved, but indeed they would do it all over again if they ever had the chance. If they ever got elected, they would open up those borders to some of the worst criminals anywhere in the world. The only thing standing between Americans and a wide open border right now is President Donald J. Trump and our great Republican patriots in Congress. Thank you. Thank you. As we speak, Democrats in this chamber have cut off all funding for the Department of Homeland Security. It's all cut off. It's all cut off. They have instituted another Democrat shutdown, the first one costing us 2 points on GDP. 2 points we lost on GDP, which probably made them quite happy, actually. Now they have closed the agency responsible for protecting Americans from terrorists and murderers. Tonight I'm demanding the full and immediate restoration of all funding for the border security, homeland security of the United States, and also for helping people clean up their snow. We have no money because of the Democrats, and it would be nice, we'd love to give you a hand at cleaning it up, but you gave no money. Nobody's getting paid. It's a shame. So you have to think about it. We have, in case you didn't know, a pretty large snowstorm out there. One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And perhaps most importantly, I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act. To stop illegal aliens and others who are unpermitted persons from voting in our sacred American elections. That cheating is rampant in our elections. It's rampant. It's very simple. All voters must show voter ID. All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. No more crooked mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. None. And this should be an easy one. And by the way, it's polling at 89%, including Democrats. 89%. And even the new communist mayor of New York City, I think he's a nice guy, actually. Speak to him a lot. Bad policy, but nice guy. Just said they want people to shovel snow. They got hit hard. Wants them to shovel snow, but if you apply for that job, you need to show 2 original forms of ID and a Social Security card. Yet they don't want identification for the greatest privilege of them all, voting in America. No, it's no good. No good. Both Republicans and Democrats overwhelmingly agree on the policy that we just enunciated. And Congress should unite and enact this common sense, country-saving legislation right now, and it should be before anything else happens. And the reason they don't want to do it, why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things, you almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat, they have cheated, and their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it. We have to stop it, John. And here is one more opportunity to show common sense in government. In the gallery tonight are Sage Blair and her mother, Michelle. In 2021, Sage was 14 when school officials in Virginia sought to socially transition her to a new gender, treating her as a boy and hiding it from her parents. Hard to believe, isn't it? Before long, a confused Sage ran away from home after she was found in a horrific situation in Maryland A left-wing judge refused to return Sage to her parents because they did not immediately state that their daughter was their son. Sage was thrown into an all-boys state home and suffered terribly for a long time. But today, all of that is behind them because Sage is a proud and wonderful young woman with a full-ride scholarship to Liberty University. Sage and Michelle, please stand up. And thank you for your great bravery. And who can believe that we're even speaking about things like this? 15 years ago, if somebody was up here and said that, they'd say, what's wrong with him? But now we have to say it because it's going on all over numerous states without even telling the parents. But surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Who would believe that we're even talking about this? We must ban it, and we must ban it immediately. Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy, I'm telling you. They're crazy. Amazing. Gentlemen. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we? No one cares more about protecting America's youth than our wonderful First Lady, now a movie star. She's a movie star. Can you believe it? Who would have believed that? Over the past year, she has had an incredible impact championing AI legislation, advancing a landmark executive order on foster care, and helping secure $30 million to launch the Melania Trump Foster Youth to Independence Initiative. It's a tremendous, really a tremendous thing that happened and had a lot of bipartisan support. She gets much better bipartisan support than I do. I get none, she gets a lot. Someday you're gonna have to tell me how you did that. And students and educators in every state have joined the First Lady's efforts in the presidential AI challenge, keeping America's next generation positioned to succeed and strongly succeed in the future. Tonight, we welcome two young people whose lives reflect the First Lady's impact, Sierra Burns and Everest Nevermont. Thank you both, and Melania, thank you. I know how hard you worked on it. Thank you very much. I'm very proud to say that during my time in office, both the first 4 years and in particular this last year, there has been a tremendous renewal in religion, faith, Christianity, and belief in God. Tremendous renewal. This is especially true among young people, and a big part of that had to do with my great friend, Charlie Kirk, a great guy, great man. So last year, Charlie was violently murdered by an assassin and martyred, really martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand. Thank you, Erica. Been through a lot. In Charlie's memory, we must all come together to reaffirm that America is one nation under God, and we must totally reject political violence of any kind. We love religion, and we love bringing it back, and it's coming back at levels that nobody actually thought possible. It's really a beautiful thing to see. Above all, unleashing America's promise requires keeping our communities safe. We have made incredible strides, yet dangerous repeat offenders continue to be released by pro-crime Democrat politicians again and again. We are honored to be joined tonight by a woman who's been through hell, Anya Zarutska. In 2022, she and her beautiful daughter, so beautiful, what a beautiful young woman, Irina, fled war-torn Ukraine to live with relatives near Charlotte, North Carolina. And by the way, what's going on with Charlotte? Last summer, 23-year-old Irina was riding home on the train when a deranged monster who had been arrested over a dozen times and was released through no cash bail, stood up and viciously slashed a knife through her neck and body. No one will ever forget. There were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal, set free to kill in America, came in through open borders. Mrs. Zarutska, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina. How do you not stand? How do you not stand? I'm asking this Congress to pass tough legislation to ensure that violent and dangerous repeat offenders are put behind bars, and importantly, that they stay there. Starting last summer, I deployed our National Guard and federal law enforcement to restore law and order to our most dangerous cities, including Memphis, Tennessee, big success, New Orleans, Louisiana, big success, and our nation's capital itself, Washington, D.C., where we have almost no crime anymore in Washington, D.C. How did that happen? In fact, crime in Washington is now at the lowest level ever recorded, and murders in D.C. this January were down close to 100% from a year ago. They don't like to hear that. One of the sick people, one of the brave service members who helped achieve this stunning turnaround was 20-year-old West Virginia Army National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. After a 4-month deployment, she voluntarily extended her service, and her rank was going to be lifted. She was doing so well. They were so proud of her. But the very next day, she was on patrol near the White House when she was ambushed and shot in the head by a terrorist monster from Afghanistan. Shouldn't have been in our country. And all because she wore the uniform of our nation, she was shot. He traveled here because he didn't like people wearing our uniform. He was sick and deranged, shouldn't have been in our country. Sarah Beckstrom died in order to defend our capital, and we are honored to be joined by her wonderful parents, Gary and Evalie. Your daughter was a true American patriot, and she will be greatly missed. She was a great person. I saw reports on her. They've never seen anything like her. So sorry. Thank you very much. She's a great young lady. I saw reports that were like, perfect. She was perfect. Serving alongside Sarah that day was Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. The terrorist shot Andrew in the head, and no one thought he could possibly make it. The two of them, Sarah and Andrew, both shot violently in the head. Neither was expected to make it. They weren't even given a chance, except his wonderful mother, named Melody, who I spoke to the same night, and she was so positive. The doctors thought that Andrew was gone, but his mother said, no, no, Mr. President, Andrew will be fine. He's going to make it. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he was given almost no chance. She said, I have no doubt, sir, he's going to be okay. This was a conversation that I had with her that night, with her son laying helplessly in bed, blood all over. Everybody is praying, she said, sir, he will be okay. The doctors didn't understand what she was saying, and after looking at the results of the damage done, neither did I. She was so strong and conclusive that even Andrew's great father felt she didn't really understand the gravity of the situation. But she turned out to be right. Right, Melody? She turned out to be right. Amazing, actually. I said, where does this woman come from? She's the most positive person I've ever met. With God's help, Andrew has battled back from the edge of death, and we're talking about the edge of death, on his way to a miraculous recovery. He's got a little work to do, but he's doing great. Nice to see you. He's a good-looking guy. Nice to see you. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you very much. So, Andrew, while you're up, now I'm going to ask a highly respected General James Seward to present Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf and the great family of Sarah Beckstrom with the award created by our late great President George Washington himself. It's called the Purple Heart. We love you all. Love you. We're proudly restoring safety for Americans at home, and we are also restoring security for Americans abroad. Our country has never been stronger. My first 10 months, I ended 8 wars, including Cambodia. Isn't it funny? Sick people. Cambodia and Thailand, Pakistan and India. Would have been a nuclear war. 35 million people said the Prime Minister of Pakistan would have died if it were not for my involvement. Kosovo and Serbia, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, Armenia and Azerbaijan, the Congo and Rwanda, and of course the war in Gaza, which proceeds at a very low level. It's just about there. And I want to thank Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for your help. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Jared. And I also want to thank the man they report to, Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Thank you, Marco. People don't like you. You know, Marco got 100% of the votes when he was in confirmation. I think our next one was about 54%. And some of the Democrats are now saying, I can't believe we approved that guy. And he said it's an honor that they feel that way, right, Marco? You have done a great job, great Secretary of State. I think he'll go down as the best ever. Under the ceasefire I negotiated, every single hostage, both living and dead, has been returned home. Can you believe that? Nobody thought it was possible. Nobody thought that was possible. Both living and dead. And those parents who had a dead son, their boy, they'd always tell me their boy, they wanted him as much as though he were living. It was an amazing period of time. And they came back, and when we got all of the living hostages back, and many, many before them, but I always said those last 20 are going to be very tough, but we got many, many more, hundreds. But I said those last 20 are going to be tough. We got them back. But we only got back 14 or 15 of the dead of the 28. And believe it or not, Hamas worked along with Israel, and they dug and they dug and they dug. It's a tough thing to do, going through bodies all over, passing up 100 bodies sometimes for each one that they found. Tough job. And they finally got it back to 27. And then Steve and Jared, they got it back to 28. They found all 28. Nobody thought that was possible, but we did it. And I remember the family of the 28th. They were so grieved, but they were so happy as it's possible to be. They had their boy back. The mother said, "Sir, we have our boy back." What a period of time that was, but we got them all back. So thank you both very much. Great job. And we're working very hard to end the 9th war, the killing and slaughter between Russia and Ukraine, where 25,000 soldiers are dying each and every month. Think of that, 25,000 soldiers are dying a month. A war which would have never happened if I were president, would have never happened. As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must. That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer. For decades, it had been the policy of the United States never to allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. Many decades. Since they seized control of that proud nation 47 years ago, the regime and its murderous proxies have spread nothing but terrorism and death and hate. They've killed and maimed thousands of American service members and hundreds of thousands and even millions of people with what's called roadside bombs. They were the kings of the roadside bomb. And we took out Soleimani. I did that during my first term. Had a huge impact. He was the father of the roadside bomb. And just over the last couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like 32,000 protesters, 32,000 protesters in their own country. They shot them and hung them. We stopped them from hanging a lot of them with the threat of serious violence. But this is some terrible people. They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue. They're starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen. And no nation should ever doubt America's resolve. We have the most powerful military on earth. I rebuilt the military in my first term. We're going to continue to do so. Also, we just approved a $1 trillion budget. We have no choice. We have to be strong, because hopefully we will seldom have to use this great power that we built together. It's really called peace through strength, and it's been very, very effective. So thanks to Republicans in Congress, we're investing that record number of dollars, have no choice, in the United States Armed Forces. Also creating a lot of jobs, but we're not even doing it for that reason. Because as I said, we have more jobs, more people working today than ever before in the history of our country. And NATO countries are friends and allies. They are. They're our friends and they're our allies. Have just agreed, at my very strong request, to pay 5% of GDP for military defense rather than the 2%, which they weren't paying. We were paying for almost all of NATO. Now they're paying 5 as opposed to not paying 4. And getting that 5% was something which everyone said would never be done, could not happen. We got it really easily with one meeting. And big difference between 2% that's not paid. We were paying the freight of many of them. Very few were paid up. Now 5%, then they're paid. And everything we send over to Ukraine is sent through NATO, and they pay us in full. They pay us totally in full. Every branch of our armed forces is setting records for recruitment. This is so exciting. And every service member recently. And every service member recently received a warrior dividend of $1,776. You know, they put it on my desk. We got the money from tariffs and other things, a lot of money we have. We have much more money than people understand. Have to rebuild that program a little bit, but it won't take long. But we got the money, and it was $1,775, and they wanted my approval. And I said, what's the number? $1,775. I said, wait a minute, for $1 more we can have $1,776. It's going to... I said, we're going to figure that. I never asked anybody if we could afford it. $1 more. I said, $1,776. And I said, that's good. And I'll tell you what, our military, that was 4 months ago, our military, I never see a person in the military that doesn't thank me for it. So we're honored to do it. They deserve it. And we call it $1,776. It was great. And we love our military. We love our law enforcement. We love our firemen. You know, the firemen don't get mentioned enough. We love our firemen. We're also restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere, acting to secure our national interests and defend our country from violence, drugs, terrorism, and foreign interference. For years, large swaths of territory in our region, including large parts of Mexico, really large parts of Mexico, have been controlled by murderous drug cartels. That's why I designated these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and I declared illicit fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. And with our new military campaign, we have stopped record amounts of drugs coming into our country and virtually stopped it completely coming in by water or sea. You probably noticed that. We very seriously damaged their fishing industry also. Nobody wants to go fishing anymore. We've also taken down one of the most sinister cartel kingpins of all. You saw that yesterday. In January,
well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is heading to Israel, and this comes at a moment when West Asia is on a razor's edge. In fact, our Prime Minister has just issued his departure statement ahead of his state visit to Israel, describing the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as a dear friend and calling the India-Israel partnership robust. The Prime Minister has said discussions will focus on defense and security, on science and tech, on agriculture, water management, trade investment, and of course, people-to-people ties as well. He will also be meeting the Israeli President, Isaac Herzog, and is set to become the first Indian Prime Minister to address the Israeli Parliament as well. As far as this departure statement is concerned, the language is warm, the framing is forward-looking, many would say, and the emphasis is on innovation, on resilience. And this visit, as I mentioned, unfolds at a time when Israel faces intense global scrutiny over the Gaza war, when proceedings continue at the International Court of Justice as well, and when regional tensions involving Iran remain volatile. You also must note that this visit was first announced publicly by Netanyahu before formal confirmation from New Delhi. That detail alone triggered debate in diplomatic circles about who really is shaping the optics of this visit and partnership. You must note, though, India and Israel share robust defense ties, deep tech cooperation, expanding trade as well. Yet the geopolitical weather has shifted dramatically since our Prime Minister's landmark 2017 trip, which was the first ever by an Indian Prime Minister to Israel. As we speak today, Israel faces proceedings at the International Court of Justice over the Gaza genocide. That's what the International Court of Justice has categorically termed it as. The International Criminal Court, meanwhile, has issued arrest warrants for Mr. Netanyahu and other Israeli leaders. And opposition lawmakers in the Israeli parliament have threatened to boycott the address that's lined up, and they cite internal procedural disputes that are exposing fractures within Israeli politics itself. Now, at the same time, you must note, Washington's posture towards Iran has hardened. Donald Trump has deployed major naval assets to the region and warned Tehran of consequences if negotiations collapse. As Iran is preparing counter-proposals, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is heading to Israel at a moment when West Asia is on a razor's edge. The region is witnessing intensifying US-Iran tensions, continuing devastation in Gaza, and mounting legal and diplomatic pressure as far as the Israeli Prime Minister is concerned. And there you can see visuals of the Prime Minister departing for Israel for this crucial state visit. In fact, Narendra Modi issued a departure statement ahead of his state visit to Israel, describing Benjamin Netanyahu as a dear friend and calling the India-Israel partnership robust. In fact, Mr. Modi has also said discussions will focus on defense and security, on water management, agriculture, science and technology, trade and investment, and people-to-people ties. The generic language, as far as his departure statement is concerned, is warm. The framing, you must note, is forward-looking, and the emphasis is on resilience, on innovation. But you cannot ignore the fact that this visit unfolds at a time when Israel faces intense global scrutiny. Meanwhile, you also must crucially note that Netanyahu has floated the idea of a hexagon of alliances, positioning India alongside Mediterranean and Gulf partners in a bloc designed to counter Iran. That framing, as you know, carries diplomatic weight. It suggests India is being projected as a pillar in a new regional security architecture, but finer questions and details remain. The question is whether New Delhi intends to occupy that role. There are also hard security realities one cannot ignore. Israel remains one of India's top defense suppliers. A fresh memorandum of understanding was signed just days before this visit, reinforcing joint production and tech transfer as well. So from missile systems to drones to cybersecurity tools, the military relationship is dense and operational. And connectivity ambitions are also another variable, because the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor that was announced with great fanfare a few years ago, that runs through a geography now destabilized by conflict. So this visit is at the intersection of defense dependency, energy vulnerability, diaspora security, legal scrutiny of Israel as well, and India's historical support for Palestinian statehood as well. Gauri Dwivedi now joins us this morning as the Prime Minister departs for Israel for this crucial visit. Gauri, to begin with, what concrete agreements are expected to be signed during this visit? Take us to the top focus, particularly in defense and joint production. Are we going to see new platforms or upgrades that deepen India's operational dependence on Israel?
So a couple of things that are very important, Parmeshwar, to highlight. First and foremost, this is a visit that comes at a time of great upheaval in the region and globally as well. So to that extent, this visit comes at a time when the entire Middle East region is seeing a lot of upheaval. There are tensions that have been rising in the entire region. Of course, it doesn't impact India directly, but this visit is coming at that particular juncture when the Iran and US tensions have been rising, and Israel directly gets impacted the moment there are any tensions in that region. Second important aspect is this is a visit where, in fact, the departure statement that the Prime Minister also put out, the government put out, very categorically highlights the focus is on two aspects. One is trade. There's a free trade agreement that is likely to be signed up between India and Israel. And the second leg of, and the second piece of this entire visit is going to focus on shared commitments with regard to shared defense and strategic ambitions. And to that extent, trade, defense, technology are essentially going to be the key highlights and key aspects of this visit of the Prime Minister. The fact that he will be the first Indian Prime Minister to be addressing the Israeli Parliament is extremely significant, because both the messaging, the timing, the optics, all of it come together for this visit to be so significant. Remember, there's also going to be an address to the diaspora by the Prime Minister. There's a very large, vibrant, thriving Indian diaspora in Israel, and the message from the Prime Minister. And remember, this has been his long-standing, foreign policy diplomatic initiative all along, which is to engage with the diaspora, commit them to the larger growth ambitions of India. So for him to be addressing the diaspora is going to be significant. In terms of this specific aspects of what the statement that was made by the Prime Minister before his departure statement really highlights that even from a technology point of view, remember, there are specific areas both in defense and civilian technology where Israel is actually a world leader. And getting those tech aspects ingrained and embedded into India's growth is going to be extremely significant. So in all, these are the three aspects of this visit that is going to be extremely critical, both from a timing, from a messaging, and of course, from a larger takeaway point of view.
Indeed, as Gauri is reporting, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has departed for Israel on a state visit that comes at a fraught geopolitical moment. Meanwhile, Gauri, how is New Delhi navigating the optics of meeting Netanyahu while the International Criminal Court warrants remain in force and there's intense global scrutiny?
See, none of this has happened overnight. The fact that, those international criminal proceedings that are taking place, those are things that haven't happened overnight. So that are not going to likely have a direct bearing as far as this bilateral relationship is concerned. This comes after the last visit the Prime Minister made to Israel was in 2017. Since then, the bilateral relationship itself has been upgraded. It's of great strategic importance. And to that effect, this is going to be more from a bilateral point of view. The takeaways are going to be significant to that extent. Of course, geopolitical aspects are going to matter, but they're not going to weigh in on what the objective of this visit really is. The objective of the visit, where in fact Prime Minister Netanyahu also pointed out, and you mentioned that as well, that the hexagon of allies has India as it. It is because of the India-Israel trade and defense partnership. And I think that is going to be the single biggest piece of it. The India-Israel Free Trade Pact, also coming at a time of great global trade upheaval. So that is going to be extremely significant. In civilian technology, let me tell our viewers that Israel is actually a world leader when it comes to water conservation, ensuring that, agriculture gets cutting-edge technology. Those are going to be aspects that are going to be extremely critical in this visit. And the third piece, again, what the Prime Minister's message is to the Israeli Parliament, I think that is going to be historic, not just about day-to-day, not just about today, but the messaging that India, the world's largest democracy, gives to the Israeli Parliament. I think that's going to be extremely significant and the larger takeaway of this visit.
All right, as always, Gauri, we'll of course revert to you for regular updates. We've got Vishnu Shom tracking the finer developments with us as well. Before we get in a quick update from Vishnu, Israel's Special Envoy on Trade and Innovation discusses India-Israel relations, including Prime Minister Modi's visit to Israel, the Modi-Netanyahu friendship, the India-Israel FTA, joint counterterrorism efforts, and regional tensions over Iran in this exclusive. Listen in.
NDTV is reporting from Jerusalem, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is about to arrive. And joining me right now is Fleur Hassan Noum, who is, of course, the special envoy from the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs for Trade and Innovation. Fleur, thank you very much for joining us here in Jerusalem. You've been the deputy mayor as well. I met you a couple of times in the past, but how interesting and important is this visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Israel?
I actually think it's extremely important and an extremely important time. We could be looking at a new region. The last 2 years have certainly reshaped many of the conceptions that the world had, but it's actually reshaped the region as well. India is a very important partner for Israel, not just, of course, with trade, but in really shared values and shared vision of prosperity. We have a very interesting relationship also through and with the United Arab Emirates, we have a potential trade corridor that we're looking at with the IMEC corridor, which is India, connecting India to the Middle East, connecting the Middle East to Europe through Israel. And there is just so much that we can do together for the joint prosperity of our peoples, but also the region. So it's very exciting that he's coming.
And there's a great rapport between Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Yes.
We were expecting Prime Minister Netanyahu will visit India. That couldn't happen. Now Prime Minister Modi is here for the second time after 2017.
Yes.
What do you say about the rapport that helps build this relationship? Because it's not just about trade, usually. It is also about people-to-people contact. It's about both being victims of terrorism as well and how they relate with each other.
Absolutely. We share a lot of challenges. You have very similar challenges to Israel. And also you have a very similar mindset in terms of hard work, innovation and moving forward. But I agree with you. At the end of the day, it's about chemistry. And Prime Minister Netanyahu and Modi and Prime Minister Modi have an incredible chemistry. They both have also personal political challenges which are similar in many ways. And they've just bonded for many, many years. Everybody remembers the wonderful image of them both going into the sea without shoes and talking about hydropower and alternative green energies. And so we all have that in our heads. And they are both fearless leaders who are not scared of shaking the box for the good of their countries.
NDTV right now is reporting from Jerusalem in Israel, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be arriving. And in fact, this will be the second visit of the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to meet his friend Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. In fact, India and Israel have come together like never before in the last decade, when there has been bonhomie and friendship witnessed between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Benjamin Netanyahu. This visit also comes at a time when there have been geopolitical tensions in the region for last several years, particularly at this particular time between Iran, United States and Israel. There have been speculations made whether US administration and the Trump administration will in fact launch preemptive strikes against Iran. Whether nobody can predict that at this particular stage, but things are not as normal as they should be right now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be arriving here on Wednesday morning, where Benjamin Netanyahu will be receiving him. There will be a brief meeting between the two leaders, and the same late afternoon there will be in fact an address, a special address by Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the Israeli parliament, which is called the Knesset. This is a special gesture. The last top leader to address the Israeli parliament was in fact the US President Donald Trump. In fact, there will be discussions on the regional security tensions as well. But India and Israel will now work to expand their security cooperation, defense cooperation, and also trade, innovation, and AI and technology cooperation between the countries.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has departed for Israel, as you can see through the visuals playing out on your screens at the moment, at a fraught geopolitical moment. My colleague Vishnu Shom joins us live with all the finer developments and what to expect and the specific deliverables as well expected from this visit. Vishnu, besides the specific deliverables expected from this crucial visit, diving into the optics of the Prime Minister's departure statement as well, Narendra Modi describes Mr. Netanyahu as a dear friend. Now, at a time of global scrutiny of Israel's conduct, specifically in Gaza, how significant is this language coming in as our Prime Minister departs for Israel?
Well, India's had a very carefully calibrated policy in West Asia. On the one hand, we've had a historic relationship with Iran, and that's not going away. And on the other hand, we've got a really, really up-and-coming relationship with Israel. Israel is critical for us, for our for our military requirements, our strategic interests, for our economic interests as well. I dare say Iran has been important as well. India's foreign policy has always been one of autonomy, and therefore this visit needs to be seen independently of any relationship that we have with Iran. Obviously, India also wants the situation in Iran to become peaceful and there to be a relative sense of normalcy. Right now, the situation in West Asia is fraught. As far as the situation in Israel is concerned, India has consistently had a two-nation policy. India has made fairly strong remarks in the past about the need to ensure that there is peace in Gaza, that the loss of lives is minimized. We've been approached by the United States to be a member of the Board of Peace,
At the moment, there is an element of silence from India as far as that is concerned. But India is deeply invested to the peace process over there. Remember, India historically has been very close to the Palestinian people as well. So Indian foreign policy actually extends across various areas. Iran, the Palestinians, and certainly the Israelis as well. But the focus of this visit of Israel is important. As I said, it's a critical relationship. The second visit of the Prime Minister in 9 years. The relationship is now called a strategic partnership. It was made that in 2017. There is a huge partnership covering science, tech, strategic, defense, security, trade, investment, agriculture, water, and people to people. Remember, there is a very close bonhomie between people in Israel and in India. The Jewish community in India, they've been here for thousands of years. It's an ancient, sort of part of the Jewish civilization over here in India. They've never been persecuted in India. That's something that's deeply valued by people in Israel. So the relationship is certainly going up. There is a very close chemistry between the two leaders, but we've got that between Prime Minister Modi and other leaders as well. So we need to look at this really in terms of what might actually take place. Now, apart from standard sort of negotiations and cooperation, I do believe this will be an opportunity to look at the future of the defense relationship between two sides, where Israel already plays a huge part.
Right. Vishnu, as always, thank you so much for breaking down the key takeaways for us. We'll, of course, revert to you for regular updates. Well, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi visits Israel, defense cooperation is once again at the center of the India-Israel strategic partnership. Israel is already among India's top defense suppliers, as I mentioned. But let's just take a look now at the major systems reportedly in discussion or of interest, beginning with the 767 refueling tanker jets. Israel Aerospace Industries converts Boeing 767 aircraft into mid-air refueling tankers. For us in India, additional aerial refuelers would significantly extend the operational range of the Air Force, particularly for long-distance strike and maritime missions. Then there's the Icebreaker air-to-surface missile. Developed by Rafale, the Icebreaker is a long-range precision-guided missile designed to strike high-value targets at sea and on land. It enhances standoff capability, basically allowing aircraft to strike without entering heavily defended airspace. There's also the Golden Horizon air-launched ballistic missile, often associated with advanced air-launched strike concepts such as systems providing deep strike capability with high speed and maneuverability. India already fields air-launched variants like the BrahMos. Any Israeli offering would be evaluated against existing indigenous capabilities. There's also the Iron Beam directed energy weapon. Developed by Rafale, Iron Beam uses high-energy lasers to intercept rockets, drones, and mortars. It is designed as a cost-effective supplement to missile-based air defense systems like the Iron Dome. So for us in India, it could bolster short-range air defense against drone swarms. There's also the Barrack-8 surface-to-air missile, which is a joint India-Israel development between the DRDO and Israel Aerospace Industries. It's already deployed by the Indian Navy and Air Force. Upgrades would essentially enhance range, tracking, and interception capability. We cannot forget the radar and avionics for Tejas fighters. Israeli firms have long supplied radar and electronic warfare systems to India. Advanced avionics integration for the indigenous Tejas fighter would improve situational awareness and combat performance too. Then there's obviously additional drones, missiles, and precision munitions. Israel has supplied Heron drones and various precision-guided weapons to India. Expanding inventory and local joint production are likely key discussion areas, as my colleague Vishnu Shom has been pointing out. Basically, in short, the focus is clear. Force multipliers, precision strikes, air defense, tech integration. This visit is crucial. The strategic question now is how much of this translates into co-production in India and how it fits within India's push for defense self-reliance. In fact, the Prime Minister has an action-packed schedule. He is visiting Israel at a geopolitically fraught time. Here are the issues that you need to pay attention to at the moment.
When Narendra Modi landed in Tel Aviv in 2017, breaking decades of diplomatic hesitation, he was greeted not just with protocol, but with a warm embrace from Benjamin Netanyahu. That hug became a symbolic relationship, moving from quiet cooperation to public camaraderie. The optics were unmistakable. A shared visit to the Haifa cemetery, a walk along the Mediterranean coast, repeated references to friendship, trust, and shared democratic values. For Israel, it was the first standalone visit by an Indian Prime Minister. For India, it marked a bold recalibration of West Asia diplomacy.
It's the first time an Indian Prime Minister is visiting Israel. We receive you with open arms. We love India.
Months later, Netanyahu returned the warmth. His 2018 India visit featured a high-profile roadshow in Gujarat, rare theatre in international diplomacy. The two leaders spoke not just of defence deals, but of innovation, agriculture, water technology, and startup partnerships.
In Prime Minister Netanyahu, I have a counterpart who is equally committed to taking the India-Israel relationship to soaring new heights.
Under their watch, defence ties deepened. Israel emerged as one of India's top military suppliers. Intelligence sharing expanded, cooperation in cyber, AI, and homeland security intensified. But beyond strategy, it is the personal chemistry that stands out. Netanyahu has described India-Israel ties as a powerful alliance. Modi has spoken of an enduring friendship built on trust. Even after postponed visits and shifting regional tensions, direct phone calls between the two leaders keeps the momentum alive. Now as Modi prepares to address the Knesset once again, the bonhomie between the two leaders is expected to translate into deeper strategic cooperation.
NDTV at present is reporting right outside the Israeli Knesset, which is of course the Israeli parliament. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been specially invited by the Israeli government and the Speaker of the Israeli Knesset to speak at the Knesset on Wednesday afternoon. At around 8 p.m. India time, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be addressing the Israeli parliament, and this is a rare honor. In fact, I was here more than 10 years ago when the Indian head of the state, the Indian President Pranab Mukherjee, was also invited to speak at the Israeli Knesset, and I was inside the parliament when that speech happened, and that was a historic occasion when the first head of the state visit from India to Israel happened. And now Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, trying to cement the ties to a new level of strategic partnership. A security cooperation agreement could be signed along with other agreements and MOUs on innovation, AI, agriculture, water management, and other related issues. But defense and strategic affairs remains the top focus when it comes to India and Israel.
With Aditya Rajkol in Tel Aviv, Israel, Bureau Report, NDTV.
Well, you are about to see visuals on your screens of the Prime Minister departing for Israel, and he has issued his departure statement as well, describing Benjamin Netanyahu as a dear friend and calling the India-Israel partnership robust. The Prime Minister says discussions on this trip will focus on defense and security, science and tech, agriculture, people-to-people ties, and of course trade and investment as well. He's got an action-packed schedule lined up, but the language of this departure statement is warm. The emphasis is on innovation, on resilience. But you cannot ignore the fact that this visit unfolds at a time when Israel faces intense global scrutiny over the Gaza war, when proceedings continue at the International Court of Justice, and when regional tensions involving Iran remain volatile. With that, we're slipping into a very quick break. We're back in a moment with the latest updates for you.
My friend Prime Minister Narendra Modi, welcome to Israel.
Shalom, Namaste. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's big Israel visit. From personal trust to strategic power play.
For the Jews of India, they love India, they love Israel.
A friendship that shapes the future.
Hello, Moto. Motorola, India's leading AI smartphone brand. Motorola Signature, India's #1 camera phone. Grab Motorola Signature today.
करियर से अर्ली रिटायरमेंट के लिए रेडी और अपने पैशन को करियर बनाने के लिए भी रेडी। पीएनबी मेटलाइफ रिटायरमेंट प्लान्स के साथ लॉक करें 10.2% गारंटीड एन्युटी रेट फॉर लाइफ ताकि आप रहे ऑलवेज रेडी। पीएनबी मेटलाइफ, ऑलवेज रेडी फॉर लाइफ।
Some moments in life are lifelong. Some memories are lifelong. Blessings are meant to be lifelong. Trust is also placed lifelong.
Heart lifelong, love lifelong, bond lifelong, memories lifelong.
True love is lifelong, isn't it?
Love lifelong, bond lifelong.
We respect our loved ones lifelong too, don't we?
Some relationships stay shining lifelong.
Just like Tata Power Solar Roof, best quality solutions, lifelong service guarantee and unmatched expertise. Ye on the quality lifelong.
After the roaring success in Delhi, Hyderabad and Mumbai, the NDTV DP World PGTI Golf Pro-Am now travels to Ahmedabad. India's finest professionals, the city's most accomplished business leaders. Great golf, great company. NDTV DP World PGTI Golf Pro-Am. The course of champions, the conversation of leaders. 8th March, Kalhar Blues and Greens, Ahmedabad.
Across the country.
He has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones. Brought clarity to complex issues of national security and international affairs. Aditya Raj Kaul, covering international affairs like no one else. Only on NDTV network.
First India tour in your city. Rag on with Shankar Ehsan Loy and Siddharth Mahadevan and Shivam Mahadevan. 5 times melody, 5 times masti with NDTV Good Times. Go grab your tickets.
Alright team, our new order show is ready. Now we need a promo. Something cool, something sharp.
Well, I'm sure we'll be having outstanding reviews, solid suggestions,
Expert advice, the latest trends. It's a lot simpler. We'll help people make the right auto decisions. It's got the cool stuff, geeky stuff, serious stuff, all of it, so that you can discover, decide and drive. I'm Siddharth Sharma and I am your Automate.
We respect our loved ones lifelong too, don't we? Just like Tata Power Solar Roof, best quality solutions, lifelong service guarantee and unmatched expertise. Ye on the quality lifelong.
Welcome back. Well, after Delhi, air pollution has tightened its grip in metro cities like Mumbai, with alarming visuals of haze and dipping air quality levels. You see, the average AQI in Mumbai actually for the past 7 days is in the unhealthy category. In Maharashtra, the state government has ordered a halt to construction activity across the state. So over 1,000 construction sites have been notified with notices issued for alleged violations of environmental norms as well. Meanwhile, actress Saimi Kher has voiced concern, saying she now wears a mask even for her morning runs, calling clean air a luxury and asking if basic accountability is too much to expect.
You are a runner, you are a regular on Carter Road, and you have raised certain concerns as far as the Mumbai air quality is concerned. Tell us what you've been experiencing.
Well, I live in Khar, so I run from Khar around Carter Road. I go to Bandstand, and that's been like a 10-kilometer loop, which I've been doing for the last 10 years. I started running 10 years ago. And I said it in my post as well. I fell in love with running because of the city, because I used to run on the shoreline. I used to go to Marine Drive, run in town as well. So it's just something that runners have been doing in the city for many, many years. I've probably run the Tata Mumbai Marathon all the 10 years that I've lived here and even before. So I have been an avid runner, and it's becoming increasingly difficult because the minute I go out and run, I have this persistent cough where doctors tell you that you shouldn't be running outdoor in the mornings because it's kind of counterproductive to being healthy because of the air quality. And it's really disheartening because firstly, it's very difficult to stay fit. Like you have to motivate yourself to wake up at 4:35 before you work to go out and run. And then it's just like becoming impossible to run in the city.
As a celebrity, as a public figure, do you see this as a response, as you being responsible? You should be responsible to raise awareness among public, especially in areas like these, which are prime areas in the city where you're witnessing this kind of air pollution, and of course it has inconvenienced people like you and I. So do you think as a responsible citizen it is your duty to raise awareness among people here?
I feel it's everyone's duty, Radhika. It's not just somebody who, my profession, I happen to be an actor, but I think every single profession's duty is to raise awareness. And I have, again, always believed this, that if you see someone littering, it could be a friend of yours who's got the highest education, but he goes and litters. He is adding to the problem, or she is adding to the problem. So it's not one person's responsibility. It's not just people in power's responsibilities, every single person's responsibility, because in the mornings, besides the pollution that you see Bandstand completely littered every morning. I chat with the jhaduwalas in the morning and they said, nahi madam, abhi to ye badhte hi ja raha hai. So it's become like a thing that we don't have the civic sense either. We really don't.
Meanwhile, Shiv Sena UBT MLA Aditya Thackeray has accused the BJP government of failing to curb the toxic pollution, while Abu Azmi meanwhile claims the state is not taking any meaningful action. We've got both those reactions lined up for you. Listen in.
From Maharashtra government or the regime of BJP in Maharashtra, we see only rampant deforestation, cutting of mangroves, we see opening of new mines, we see cutting down of hills, but we don't see any anti-pollution measures coming in. I have asked the BMC once again today to open their windows, open their eyes and see the kind of pollution that we as Mumbaikars are facing. They should halt all private construction for at least a week, like when it happens for a VVIP visit. And then they must have a construction management timetable which will help us to accommodate construction in all wards and yet keep pollution in check.
हमारे एरिया मानकुश शिवाजी नगर और पूरे मुंबई में प्रदूषण की बहुत हालत खराब है। पोल्यूशन बहुत बढ़ चुका है। सरकार ने मस्जिदों की लाउडस्पीकर को पोल्यूशन की वजह से निकाल दिया, जबकि मस्जिद के लाउडस्पीकर से कोई पोल्यूशन होता नहीं है, वो कोई वॉइस पोल्यूशन नहीं होता है। बिल्कुल झूठ है ये। मैं पिछले चौथी बार एमएलए हूं। मेरे एरिया में एसएमएस कंपनी बायोकेमिकल जहां सब दवाएं जलाई जाती हैं और बड़ी जबरदस्त तरीके से 24 घंटे धुआं निकलता है, और हम बार बार बात करके थक चुके हैं, लक्षवेदी लगा चुके हैं, लोग बीमार हो रहे हैं। वहां फायर ब्रिगेड स्टेशन है, वहां ऑफिसर काम करने को तैयार नहीं है।
All right, let's switch tracks now. With the central government approving the renaming of pole-bound Kerala as Keralam, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has questioned this decision, stating that her own government's proposal sent 8 years ago to change West Bengal's name to Bangla was not approved. But in a significant development, Kerala will now be officially called Keralam, and the move has triggered a fresh political debate across the country. Mamata Banerjee has questioned why her state's long-pending proposal to rename West Bengal as Bangla has not received any similar approval. In fact, she also claims that the Kerala renaming signals a growing BJP-CPIM understanding. The BJP, though, has hit back, saying Bengal's name carries a huge historical legacy. The party accused Mamata Banerjee of attempting to politically unite West Bengal and Bangladesh, asserting that alphabetic chronology is not above history and making it clear that any such move would not be allowed. By the way, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said the name change strengthens cultural identity and reflects the aspirations of the people of Kerala. We've lined up some crucial reactions for you. Listen in.
I am very happy because, look, please understand, our Keralam is called God's own country. It is a state with a huge history, a long history of rich tradition, culture. The British came, other people came and tried to make it something else. But we should, as we build Vikasita Keralam, we should not forget who we are, where we came from. And so I think calling our state Keralam is very, very, very appropriate, because we are going to be a state that is going to restore our traditions, restore our culture, protect our culture and heritage, and at the same time build a modern, forward-looking economy and build this Vikasita Keralam that is the dream of every Malayali.
দেখুন, কেরালার নাম কেরালার হয়েছে, এতে আমরা খুশি। কনগ্রাচুলেশন টু কেরালা অফ মাই ব্রাদার্স অ্যান্ড সিস্টার্স। কিন্তু সাথে সাথে এটা আমি নিশ্চয়ই বলবো যে আমাদের বাংলা রাজ্যের নাম দেওয়ার ব্যাপারটা আমরা 2-3 বার করে বারবার কেন্দ্রের থেকে সংশোধনী এসছে, যা যা বলেছে সব করে দিয়েছে, কিন্তু গত 5 বছর ধরে বাংলার নামটা কিছুতেই ওরা দিচ্ছে না। কেরালাটা আপনারা নতুন চ্যাপ্টার ওপেন করলেন, সেখানে সিপিএমের সাথে আপনাদের ভাব হয়েছে বলে আপনারা তাদেরটা করলেন। আপনি করেছেন, ভালো করেছেন, আমি আপনাকে কনগ্রাচুলেট করছি, কিন্তু আপনি বাংলাটা বাদ দিলেন কেন?
बंगाल और केरल एक ना है, एक नहीं है। केरल से केरलम हुआ है, उसका मलयालम, उसका लैंग्वेज को, अपना लैंग्वेज को उन्होंने प्रस्तावित किया था, उसको पास हो गया, वो केरल से केरलम हो गया। लेकिन पश्चिम बंगाल तो बांग्ला ही है, और पश्चिम बंगाल के पीछे एक बहुत बड़ा इतिहास है। डॉक्टर श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी, मतलब बहुत सारा खून के बाद, मतलब लाशों के ऊपर से पश्चिम बंगाल प्रतिष्ठित हुआ था। और ममता बनर्जी चाहते हैं कि पश्चिम बंगाल का इतिहास किसी को बताना नहीं चाहिए, चाहते हैं कि बांग्ला और बांग्लादेश को एक साथ कर दो, ये चाहते हैं ममता बनर्जी। लेकिन जब तक भारतीय जनता पार्टी है देश में, भारतीय जनता पार्टी है पश्चिम बंगाल में, तब तक ये पश्चिम बंगाल पश्चिम बंगाली रहेगा। हम लोग बांग्ला और बांग्लादेश को एक साथ नहीं कर सकते हैं।
It's already been Kerala and Malayalam, so now the Malayalam word is coming in English. I don't know what difference it makes. You know, the government has not given us an AIMS, has not given us any new institutions, has not given us support for coastal erosion. They have given us no projects in the union budget. But when it comes to a name change, they're willing to authorize it. That's what's happening between our government in the centre and the government in the state.
And in the Rajya Sabha, I had a chance to raise this issue. It was in July 22nd, 2024, that this demand was made. Now, our people are very happy. It's not a symbolic change. It says a lot. And but unfortunately, the BJP is trying to make politics out of it. It has nothing to do with politics. It is the sincere wish and demand of the millions of Keralites, and we welcome this decision.
Meanwhile, a dramatic political twist ahead of the Tamil Nadu Assembly election. Now, Sasikala, popularly called Chennamma in Tamil Nadu, has launched a political party. Unveiling her party flag, the expelled AIADMK leader VK Sasikala has announced that she will contest the upcoming election, which is a direct challenge to AIADMK chief Edapadi Palaniswamy. She made the announcement at a public meeting held to mark the birth anniversary of former Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha. And in a stern message, Sasikala said that Tamil Nadu is about to witness a new political chapter and her party will mark the beginning of a new Dravidian movement. In fact, in a veiled attack on the AIADMK chief, Edapadi Palanisamy, she has stated that all traitors and enemies will be rooted out.
புதிய கட்சி ஆரம்பிக்கப்படுங்க என்ன அனௌன்ஸ்மென்ட்ஸ்
இன்னைக்கு கொடியை அறிமுகம் பண்ணுறோம். மற்றபடி நிறைய விஷயங்களை மக்களுக்கு நான் சொல்ல வேண்டியது இருக்குது. அதுக்காக தான் இந்த 78வது அம்மாவுடைய பிறந்த நாளில் நான் பேச போகிறேன்.
I think that is a decision that might have an implication on the upcoming election. But whatever it is, it will depend entirely on what steps she takes, what is her stand, and how she moves forward. Others are independent decisions.
அதாவது அமமுக அதிமுக தான் 99.9% தொண்டர்கள் போராடி நினைந்து விட்டோம். மற்றவர்கள் சுதந்திர இந்தியாவில் ஜனநாயக நாட்டில் யாருடைய விருப்பம் எது வேண்டாலும் செய்யலாம். ஆனா அம்மாவின் தொண்டர்கள் அதனால யாரும் ஏதோ தொடங்கலாம். திடீர் சாம்பார் திடீர் இட்லி மாதிரி நான் சொல்றேன். அது மாதிரி திடீர் கட்சிகள் வரலாம். அம்மாவின் ஆட்சி அமைப்போம், அம்மாவின் கட்சி ஒன்றிணைப்போம் என்று சொன்னவர்கள் அவர்கள் சாயம் வெளுக்கின்ற நேரம் வந்திருக்கு. இது போன்ற அம்மாவின் ஆட்சி வருவதை யாராலும் தடுக்க முடியாது. அதனால நீங்கள் வேண்டுமானால் அந்த 0.1% நீங்கள் எப்படி.
On that note, we're slipping into a very quick break. We're back in a moment with the latest updates for you. Do stay tuned.
करियर से अर्ली रिटायरमेंट के लिए रेडी और अपने पैशन को करियर बनाने के लिए भी रेडी। पीएनबी मेटलाइफ रिटायरमेंट प्लान्स के साथ लॉक करें 10.2% गारंटीड एन्युटी रेट फॉर लाइफ ताकि आप रहे ऑलवेज रेडी। पीएनबी मेटलाइफ ऑलवेज रेडी फॉर लाइफ।
We respect our loved ones lifelong too, don't we? Just like Tata Power Solar Roof, best quality solutions, lifelong service guarantee and unmatched expertise. Ye on the quality lifelong.
Straight from the heart of the newsroom to the core of the stories shaping your world. Join me, Gargi Rawat, as I track all the developments as they break. Live from the NDTV newsroom, weekdays at 4 p.m.
First India tour in your city. Rag on with Shankar Ehsan Loy and Siddharth Mahadevan and Shivam Mahadevan. 5 times melody, 5 times masti with NDTV Good Times. Go grab your tickets.
Sound check हो गया? Visuals ready? Lights okay? Everything is ready? Wait, are you ready? ये सिर्फ एक कॉन्सर्ट नहीं है. This is my life. This is my story. One night, no repeats. Book your tickets now.
इनको यहाँ से जाना ही होगा.
जय मां दुर्गा!
There is no bigger battle in 2026. And nobody has reported Bengal like I have. Buckle up for an unforgettable election thriller. Will the BJP breach Mamta's fortress?
TMC जावे, BJP आसमे.
Can Didi fight off her life's biggest challenge?
BJP double engine सरकार ए लड़ाई बास्ते आवे.
Battleground Bengal with Manogya Loiwal.
We respect our loved ones lifelong too, don't we? Just like Tata Power Solar Roof, best quality solutions, lifelong service guarantee and unmatched expertise. Ye on the quality lifelong.
से अर्ली रिटायरमेंट के लिए रेडी और अपने पैशन को करियर बनाने के लिए भी रेडी। पीएनबी मेटलाइफ रिटायरमेंट प्लान्स के साथ लॉक करें 10.2% गारंटीड एन्युटी रेट फॉर लाइफ ताकि आप रहे ऑलवेज रेडी। पीएनबी मेटलाइफ, ऑलवेज रेडी फॉर लाइफ।
The front lines of Cartel, the fury of Operation Sindhu.
So many attacks.
The chaos and cries of disaster zones to fighter jet cockpits and the world's most defining interviews.
It's incredible.
He has seen history break. Live, unfiltered. 20,000 hours of live.
It's 10 a.m. and you are watching NDTV 24/7. I am Parmeshwar Bava. We've got an action-packed bulletin lined up for you with news from across the country and around the world. Let's begin with the top headlines you need to know at the moment. Prime Minister Modi departs for Israel, his second visit to the country. The Prime Minister is expected to address the Israeli Parliament, and in his departure statement, he says bilateral talks will strengthen cooperation across sectors. A 65-year-old tourist from Bhopal was killed after a speeding SUV rammed his hatchback in Goa's Asagaon. In a miraculous escape, a 5-month-old infant in the vehicle remained completely unharmed. But locals allege an attempted seat swap to shield the driver. A police probe is underway and now a police report has been filed. In its very first meeting at the new PMO in Seva Tirth, the cabinet chaired by the Prime Minister cleared a proposal to rename Kerala as Keralam, the development coming ahead of the assembly elections in the state. But now Mamata Banerjee asks, what about renaming West Bengal to Bangla? A toxic air warning across Mumbai as actor Saimi Kher flags the city's alarming pollution levels. The big question is, who will fix Mumbai's toxic air as it's been in the unhealthy category over the past 7 days? In one of the most dramatic moments of his State of the Union address, US President Donald Trump claims that in his first 10 months, he ended 8 wars and prevented what he says could have been a nuclear conflict between India and Pakistan, saying clearly that Pakistan's Prime Minister would have died without his intervention. Bulletin with breaking news coming in from Goa at the moment. A case has now been registered against the driver of a rented Thar SUV in connection with the fatal crash in Asagaon. According to the FIR, the vehicle was travelling from Mapusa towards Anjuna when this incident took place. An elderly man was rushed to the district hospital in Mapusa, where doctors declared him thought dead. Police have now invoked sections 106 for causing death by negligence, rash driving, and also section 125 for an act endangering life under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. My colleague Akhil is tracking the latest developments for us. He joins us live with further clarity at this point. There is an additional and troubling allegation that locals at the scene claim there was an attempted seat swap after this crash, allegedly to shield the person who was actually driving. Akhil here with us with further clarity. Akhil, what does this police report categorically state? Who does it name? Considering locals were alleging that there was an attempted seat swap, who has made these claims? What can you disclose at the moment?
Well, if you see what we have seen that last evening, this incident has taken place at around 5 in the evening, 5:38 to be precise in the evening. And after that, what we have seen that later on, after 5 hours delay, an FIR has been filed in connection with the case. And so far, Delhi, if you see, the Goa Police North District team has not able to arrest any individual in this case. What we have got to learn, I have spoken to some of the senior officials in the Goa Police Department, and they are saying that they have given a notice to the Thar driver who was driving the vehicle, and the individual who has been identified behind the wheels have been identified as Shaur Goel. So the 19-year-old has been identified right now, and the police is saying that they are investigating the matter. They have collected all the forensic evidence from the spot, but it raises several questions because even if you see at the first stance there was a delay in filing the FIR, and right now what we are learning that if you see even after filing the FIR, very mild sections have been added in connection with the case. So there was not culpable homicide angle which has been attached to this case so far. But if you see a 65-year-old individual, an elderly man has lost his life in this unfortunate tragedy incident, in which what we have seen that if you see in the Asago area, which comes under the Anjuna police station in the North Goa district, this incident has taken place when there was a direct collision that has taken place between an I-20 car and another SUV Thar car.
Well, as Akhil is reporting, there are questions over the mild sections that the police report has been registered under. Meanwhile, Akhil, tell us, has the driver medically been examined immediately? Have any alcohol or toxicology reports been ordered as per the SOP in such a situation?
See, this is yet to be confirmed by the Goa Police Department, because generally what happens in such cases, the medical examinations are being done once such incidents basically come to light, and it's very likely that the Goa Police team must have done the forensic examination on that part, that at that very moment when that crash has taken place, whether the accused was drunk or not, whether that person was in an inebriated condition or not. So right now what we have seen that FIR has formally been launched, and currently if you see the investigation is being conducted by the Goa Police North District Department.
We'll wait for further information from officials. Thanks so much for now. Well, a 65-year-old tourist from Bhopal has died after a rented Thar SUV collided with the rear of the family's hatchback at the Happy Bar Junction in North Goa's Asagao. Bhagat Ram Sharma, who was travelling in a Hyundai i20 with family members, was pronounced dead at the scene due to injuries sustained in this crash, and 2 other occupants of the hatchback were taken to a hospital with minor injuries and are reported to now be in a stable condition. What you must note is, in a miraculous escape, a 5-month-old infant who was also in the vehicle escaped unharmed. Meanwhile, locals, as I mentioned, accused the Thar's occupants of trying to shield the driver, allegedly a woman, from responsibility. They alleged that the boy swapped seats with the female driver. Police have now seized this rented vehicle and registered a case of rash and negligent driving causing death. But there are questions over the mild sections that this police report has been registered under. This as officers are investigating the allegations of a driver switch. In fact, in this video, the mangled white Hyundai i20 is seen moments after the collision as the boy from the Thar steps out and is heard telling his father that he was at the intersection. He was actually heard saying, "We were coming from one side, they were coming from the other, and we crashed." Just listen in to this video.
पापा मतलब चौराहा था, मैं जो सामने से पे एकदम दूसरी साइड से आ रहा था एंड इट जस्ट क्रैश.
Further breaking developments we're tracking at the moment. An FIR has been registered against ABVP activists at the Sarjapur police station in connection with the protest at the Azim Premji University. Sarjapur police have arrested the activists and produced them before a court now in Anekal, and around 20 activists have been granted bail. They were released early this morning at around 3:30 a.m. Well, tracking the latest coming in from Bengaluru at the moment, where the ABVP on Tuesday staged a demonstration against the Azim Premji University, alleging that an event at the institution was promoting separatism and secession of Jammu and Kashmir and was an insult to the Indian Army. In the latest, an FIR has now been filed against the ABVP leaders. Raising slogans, activists of the ABVP smeared the university's nameplate with black ink and claimed that the event was part of a larger agenda to divide India and Kashmir. The ABVP has written to the Union Home Ministry and demanded action against the student organization and the university as well. But clarifying its stance, the university denied the occurrence of any such event on campus and said that while the event was planned by a group of students, it never received the approval of the university officials. The university further said that around 20 people barged into the campus with the ABVP assaulting students and security staff and even vandalizing property.
मैं इस वक्त अजीम प्रेमजी यूनिवर्सिटी के ठीक बाहर हूँ, जहाँ पर ये यूनिवर्सिटी बेंगलुरु के सज्जापुर रोड पर है और यहाँ पर जो है एक कार्यक्रम जो है आयोजित होने वाला था, जहां पर एबीवीपी ने ये आरोप लगाया है कि इंडियन आर्मी को लेकर अपमानजनक टिप्पणी और कश्मीर को भारत से अलग करने के विचारों को जो है बढ़ावा देने के सेमिनार को एक रखा गया था। उसी के खिलाफ जो है एबीवीपी सदस्यों ने विश्वविद्यालय के खिलाफ प्रदर्शन किया मंगलवार को और संपर्क संगठन पर राष्ट्र विरोधी सेमिनार आयोजित करने का आरोप भी लगाया है। आप देख सकते हैं कि किस तरीके से अब जो है यहाँ पर सेक्रेटरी को स्टेप अप कर दिया गया है। कैंपस के अंदर भी अगर आप देख जाएंगे तो किस तरीके से यहाँ पर जो डायरेक्शंस के बोर्ड है उन पर भी जो है काले इंक को लगाया गया, बैंड्स पार्क लिखा गया है और कहीं सारे जो है जो स्लोगन्स है वो लगाए गए यहाँ पर एबीवीपी के तरफ से। और तुरंत जो है क्योंकि उन्होंने इस गेट से अंदर जाकर इस तरीके का जो विरोध प्रदर्शन किया, उसी को लेकर तुरंत बेंगलुरु पुलिस ने उन लोगों को प्रिवेंटिव कस्टडी में लिया और जो है कार्रवाई भी अब इस पर पूरे मामले को लेकर अभी चल रही है। अब देखना इस तरीके से ये होगा कि दरअसल कोई भी बाहर का इंसान इस कैंपस में किस तरीके से सिक्योरिटी के होते हुए भी कैसे अंदर घुस गए और जो है ये प्रोटेस्ट उन्होंने एक ऑर्गेनाइज किया वहां पर।
Justin, a major controversy has erupted after a viral video allegedly showed portraits of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and Maharani Padmini being used as gender signage on the doors of men's and women's washrooms at a private banquet hall in Haryana's Faridabad. Just take a look at the video playing out on your screens. This video is now viral. It categorically shows portraits of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and Maharani Padmini being used as gender signage on the doors of men's and women's washrooms at a private banquet hall in Faridabad. Congress leaders are now condemning the incident and targeting the BJP-led state government, alleging that this reflects insensitivity towards national icons. In fact, we also have other political reactions coming in at the moment. Listen in to Aditya Thackeray and Waris Pathan's latest reaction regarding the matter.
It is very unfortunate, and I hope that the BJP's bulldozer even goes there and demolishes that entire resort to the bottom completely.
कि छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज एक बहुत बड़ी शख्सियत थे, पूरा देश दुनिया उनका आदर उनका सम्मान करता है और इस तरह का उनका फोटो किसी ऐसी जगह पे लगा देना तो उससे काफी लोगों के दिलों को ठेस पहुंचती है, आहट पहुंचती है। ऐसा मेरे मानना है कि ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए किसी को भी। आपको उनकी जगह कुछ और ही लिख दिए होते, अगर वहां पे मैन है मैन लिख दो, वुमन है वुमन लिख दो, मगर आपको इस तरह से फोटो लगा के इतनी बड़ी हस्ती का अपमान करने का किसने इजाजत दिया?
My colleague Anuj Raite has been tracking the latest reactions for us. He joins us live at the moment. Anuj, the Congress, the UBT Sena and AIMIM leaders now condemning the incident and targeting the BJP-led state government?
In fact, a range of parties here in Maharashtra are speaking against what happened in Haryana. With the video that we're talking about is from Haryana's Faridabad city, as you elaborated on it earlier. And this has been making rounds since the last couple of days. And the Maharashtra Assembly is in session at the moment, as we know. And here a lot of leaders have spoken about how this is utter disrespect to the state of Maharashtra and to the people of Maharashtra. However, what has also been reported is that there is a direct link between a BJP leader in Haryana with the resort that is in question. However, the BJP leader there has denied any such link. But more importantly, the leaders from Maharashtra, that is from across party lines, which includes Shiv Sena, which is in power as well, have demanded for an apology from the resort owner and from the Haryana state government, which is led by the BJP-led government. And that has given another reason, especially for the opposition here in Maharashtra, to attack the BJP over its lack of respect for Marathi icons, because we know that in the last couple of years, there have been statements being made by either governors who had served here in Maharashtra, which were disrespectful to Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, or even, if you remember a couple of years ago, there was a statue in Rajkot, in Maharashtra's Rajkot, which fell right before the elections of 2024 Legislative Assembly elections. Which is why the opposition here is trying to gherao the BJP as a whole over the disrespect to Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj in Haryana's Faridabad.
Anuj, as always, thank you so much for breaking down the details for us. Meanwhile, another crucial news. After Delhi, air pollution has tightened its grip in metro cities like Mumbai, with alarming visuals of haze and dipping air quality levels, as you can see on your screens at the moment. Mumbai's average AQI in the past 7 days is in the unhealthy category. And in Maharashtra, the state government has ordered a halt to construction activity across the state. So basically, over 1,000 construction sites have been notified, where notices have been issued for alleged violations of environmental norms as well. This as actor Saimi Kher has voiced concern, saying she now wears a mask even for her morning runs, calling clean air a luxury and asking if basic accountability is too much to expect. Listen in to what she told NDTV.
You are a runner, you are a regular on Carter Road, and you have raised certain concerns as far as the Mumbai air quality is concerned. Tell us what you've been experiencing.
Well, I live in Khar, so I run from Khar around Carter Road. I go to Bandstand, and that's been like a 10-kilometer loop, which I've been doing for the last 10 years. I started running 10 years ago, and I said it in my post as well. I fell in love with running because of this city, because I used to run on the shoreline. I used to go to Marine Drive, run in town as well. So it's just something that runners have been doing in the city for many, many years. I've probably run the Tata Mumbai Marathon all the 10 years that I've lived here and even before. So I have been an avid runner, and it's becoming increasingly difficult because the minute I go out and run, I have this persistent cough where doctors tell you that you shouldn't be running outdoor in the mornings because it's kind of counterproductive to being healthy because of the air quality. And it's really disheartening because firstly, it's very difficult to stay fit. Like, you have to motivate yourself to wake up at 4:35 before you work to go out and run. And then it's just like becoming impossible to run in the city.
As a celebrity, as a public figure, do you see this as a response, as you being responsible? You should be responsible to raise awareness among public, especially in areas like these, which are prime areas in the city where you're witnessing this kind of air pollution, and of course it has inconvenienced people like you and I. So do you think, as a responsible citizen, it is your duty to raise awareness among people here?
I feel it's everyone's duty, Radhika. It's not just somebody who... My profession, I happen to be an actor, but I think every single profession's duty is to raise awareness. And I have, again, always believed this, that if you see someone littering, it could be a friend of yours who's got the highest education, but he goes and litters. He is adding to the problem, or she is adding to the problem. So it's not one person's responsibility. It's not just people in power's responsibilities, every single person's responsibility, because in the mornings, besides the pollution that you see Bandstand completely littered every morning. I chat with the jhaduwalas in the morning and they said, nahi madam, abhi to ye badhte hi ja raha hai. So it's become like a thing that we don't have the civic sense either. We really don't.
Meanwhile, Shiv Sena UBT MLA Aditya Thackeray has accused the BJP government of failing to curb pollution, while Abu Azmi claims that the state is not taking any meaningful action. We've got both their reactions lined up for you. Listen in.
Unfortunately, from Maharashtra government or the regime of BJP in Maharashtra, we see only rampant deforestation, cutting of mangroves, we see opening of new mines, we see cutting down of hills, but we don't see any anti-pollution measures coming in. I have asked the BMC once again today to open their windows, open their eyes and see the kind of pollution that we as Mumbaikars are facing. They should halt all private construction for at least a week, like when it happens for a VVIP visit. And then they must have a construction management timetable which will help us to accommodate construction in all wards and yet keep pollution in check.
हमारे एरिया मानकुश शिवाजी नगर और पूरे मुंबई में प्रदूषण की बहुत हालत खराब है, पोल्यूशन बहुत बढ़ चुका है। सरकार ने मस्जिदों की लाउडस्पीकर को पोल्यूशन की वजह से निकाल दिया, जबकि मस्जिद के लाउडस्पीकर से कोई पोल्यूशन होता नहीं है, वह कोई वॉइस पोल्यूशन नहीं होता है, बिल्कुल झूठ है ये। मैं पिछले चौथी बार मिले हूँ। मेरे एरिया में SMS कंपनी बायोकेमिकल जहाँ सब दवाएं जलाई जाती हैं और बड़ी जबरदस्त तरीके से 24 घंटे धुआं निकलता है, और हम बार बार बात करके थक चुके हैं, लक्षवेदी लगा चुके हैं, लोग बीमार हो रहे हैं। वहाँ फायर ब्रिगेड स्टेशन है, वहाँ ऑफिसर काम करने को तैयार नहीं है।
Well, Mumbai's rising pollution levels are estimated to account for 57% of diagnosed lung cancer cases. This is what the Maharashtra Assembly was informed on Tuesday, months after the centre told Parliament that there was no conclusive data establishing a direct correlation between higher air quality index, AQI levels, and lung diseases. Radhika Ramaswamy has been tracking the toxic air crisis in Mumbai for us. Take a look at her report. All right, let's just turn our attention to details coming in regarding the Asagaon crash in Goa. We now have key details from the FIR. The accused vehicle is a Mahindra Thar. The victim's vehicle was a Hyundai i20. According to this police report, the Thar was travelling from Mapusa towards Anjana when the driver allegedly lost control at a junction and rammed into that i20 you see on your screens, which was coming from Asagaon towards Para. The deceased has been identified as 65-year-old from Bhopal. He was taken to the district hospital in Mapusa and declared brought dead. But the accused driver has been identified as a 19-year-old Shaurya Goyal, a resident of Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. Police have registered the case under Section 106 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita for causing death by negligence, also for rash and negligent driving, and under Section 125 for an act endangering life or personal safety. You must note there were local allegations of an attempted seat swap right after this crash, a claim that could complicate this investigation if substantiated. My colleague Akil Jamil has been tracking the latest developments for us. He'll be joining us in just a few moments from now. But this as we bring you key details from the FIR in the fatal Asagaon crash in Goa. The accused vehicle is the Thar that was rented. The victim's vehicle was a Hyundai i20, that white car you see on your screens. According to this police report, the Thar was travelling from Mapusa towards Anjana when the driver allegedly lost control at this junction and then rammed into the i20, which was coming from Asagaon. The deceased has been identified as 65-year-old Bhagat Ram. He's from Bhopal. He was taken to the district hospital in Mapusa and declared brought dead. The accused driver, meanwhile, has been identified as a 19-year-old Shaurya Goyal, who is said to be a resident of Madhya Pradesh's Bhopal. There are also local allegations of an attempted seat swap after the crash, a claim that, as you know, could complicate this entire investigation if it is substantiated. We are told that the accused drove the Thar rashly, and this, as we know, a case has been registered against the driver of the Thar for alleged rash and negligent driving in North Goa. As we were discussing with Akil Jamil earlier, there are questions about the mild sections that this FIR categorically has been reported under. Whether Shaurya Goyal has been arrested or detained, Akil Jamil joins us with all the relevant information at this point. Akil, what are the latest details? Take us through what we've accessed from the FIR. We're given to understand 19-year-old Shaurya Goyal has now been arrested.
Well, that's right. Shaurya Goyal, 19-year-old accused, was behind the wheels when that unfortunate incident has taken place. But what we have seen that, if you see, almost what we have seen that 20 hours have passed and no arrests have been made by the Goa police team in connection with the case. Earlier, what we have seen that while speaking to the NDTV, the senior Goa official have claimed that a notice was issued to the driver who was behind the wheels. 19-year-old individual, Shaurya Goyal, was behind the wheel. So right now, an FIR has formally been lodged, but no arrests have been made so far in this fatal incident in which what we have seen that an elderly man has lost his life. He was there when a high speeding SUV car basically rammed into his vehicle, in which what we have seen, not only one individual lost his life, apart from that 2 others have got badly injured as well. So their treatment is still going on, which include a 5-year-old minor as well. So investigation is still going on, but what we have seen that evidently, if you just go by the witnesses over there, those who were present at that point in time have been claiming that that Shaurya Goyal was not the driver. So it is also being looking at, the Goa police team is also looking at it from all the angles. So right now they have already recovered the CCTV DVR details right now to scan that whether Shaurya Goyal was the person who was behind the wheels, or there was someone else who was driving the vehicle at that point in time.
Akhil, we'll continue to track all the latest details with you and track the latest coming in from police officials. Thanks so much. We'll leave it there for now. In other crucial news, with the central government approving the renaming of pole-bound Kerala as Keralam, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has questioned the decision, stating that her own government's proposal sent 8 years ago to change West Bengal's name to Bangla was not approved. In a significant development, Kerala will now be officially called Keralam, and the move has triggered a fresh political debate across our country. Mamata Banerjee has questioned why her state's long-pending proposal to rename West Bengal as Bangla has not received similar approval. In fact, she's also claiming that Kerala renaming signals a growing BJP-CPIM understanding. The BJP has since hit back, saying Bengal's name carries a huge historical legacy, that the party accused Mamata Banerjee of attempting to politically unite West Bengal and Bangladesh, asserting that alphabetic chronology is not above history, and making it clear that any such move would not be allowed. In fact, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said the name change strengthens cultural identity and reflects the aspirations of the people of Kerala. Here are all the crucial political reactions we've lined up for you. Listen in.
I am very happy because, look, please understand, our Keralam is called God's own country. It is a state with a huge history, a long history of rich tradition, culture. The British came, other people came and tried to make it something else. But we should, as we build Vikasita Keralam, we should not forget who we are, where we came from.